This week one Monday Night Football episode of the NFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN Free Roll Football Contest. Join our season-long pick'em for a chance to win $3,000 in a Super Bowl autographed SGP helmet. Sign up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/contest. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code SGPN on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app and use promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20 times your money in one game. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $100. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any NFL game. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Game Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everyone, to the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Saturday, September the 9th, currently 12:37 on the East Coast in the midst of college football, but we are here to talk about the Monday Night Football game, the first of the 2023-2024 NFL season. And joining me to help me break it down now, the newest voice on the NFL Gambling Podcast, I will say he's going to be joining me every single week for the Monday Night Football games. It's Lonte Smith. Lonte, how's it going, my friend?
Going good, man. I appreciate the opportunity. Looking forward to breaking down a good game. Pretty damn good game, actually. One of the better Monday night games we've had in a while. Got the debut of Aaron Rodgers, and it's on 9/11, so that'll be emotional. Two New York teams. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Can't wait to break it down with you.
Yeah, man, the first game of the regular season, I should say, at least for Monday Night Football. Two division rivals as well, right, with the AFC East teams of the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Bills are visiting the Jets at MetLife Stadium. And like you mentioned, the Aaron Rodgers led New York Jets now, former, four-time MVP, I think.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, now the new, I was going to say new head coach, but new quarterback.
Might as well be.
Yeah, probably. He reunites with his former offensive coordinator from the Green Bay Packers, and Nathaniel Hackett, who had, I guess, less than a stellar season last year. That's a nice way to put it, with the Denver Broncos, but they bring him in to reunite with Aaron Rodgers. And on the flip side, we have obviously the Buffalo Bills, a team that just, struggled just to get over that hump to get to the Super Bowl. I know they've been in multiple AFC Championship games, but just have fallen short. Either it's been to the Cincinnati Bengals or the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think it's maybe a different offensive game plan there now for the Buffalo Bills, because they've made an emphasis now. It's ever since I think Brian Daboll left last season, Lonte, that they want to get committing to run the football. They brought in Damian Harris from the New England Patriots, and they drafted James Cook as well. We also heard that they want Josh Allen to run a lot less than he does for this upcoming season. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills, man? Because, again, it just seems like they just struggled just to get over that hump.
Yeah, it's a big year for them. I think it's a big year for Josh Allen, especially with the I don't know if it's tension or what you want to call the situation with Stephon Diggs, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure where the smoke this fire. I'm pretty sure he's not happy. We saw him on the sidelines during that playoff run where he wasn't happy. Even when they were winning, he still wasn't happy that he wasn't getting the ball. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. I just think the loss of Daboll was huge, because he was the big part of that. He was a big part of that development for Josh Allen, which we saw is probably one of the biggest jumps probably seen from any position that's been made in quite some time. So, it's a big year for them. I don't know if they'll be able to keep it together. I don't know who's going to take the fall for it. But they got to get it together, and this is not going to be an easy task. They are favorite. They were prohibited favorites early on in the offseason to win the division, but now it's kind of trickled down a little bit. I think they're still heavy favorites, but they were heavier earlier in the summer. But big year for them, man. Big year for Josh Allen to also show some some even more, build on even more of that progress that he's made. And I'm interested to see. I'm not sure if James Cook is an every down back, and I like the addition of Damian Harris, which he was fine in New England. I mean, he's used to splitting time with Stevenson, so he'll be fine. I think James Cook will be more of a change of pace back. We actually, I didn't even realize this. We get to see both Cook brothers in this matchup. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it, man. Big year for the Bills. I do think if they don't have the success they think they are, I think Dorsey's pretty much gone. I think he'll be the fall guy for this.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at even the Super Bowl odds. The Buffalo Bills are 9-1. They're the third favorites to win the Super Bowl for this upcoming season, trailing only the Eagles and the Chiefs. And again, that's pretty much been the case of the past couple seasons, where this team has found a lot of success during the regular season. And when we talk about the division quickly here, both these teams being in the same division in that AFC East right now, the Bills are a plus 120 favorite to win that division. And there's a drop off. The next team is the Jets that they're going to be facing on Monday Night Football, plus 270. Quickly want to turn on the Jets. Obviously, the debacle with Zach Wilson last season, and they had the quarterback carousel between guys like Mike White and some of the Joe Flacco even was on this roster last season throwing the football for this team. But now you bring in a significant quarterback upgrade to this team, which already had a stellar defense led by Robert Saleh in his second season as the head coach now for the New York Jets. Garrett Wilson coming off of the offensive rookie of the year. They brought in some of Aaron Rodgers' guys and guys like Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. Now, I'm sure how much Randall Cobb is going to contribute to this offense, but maybe more of a locker room guy for some of the young guys on this team. They added Dalvin Cook not too long ago to the backfield that had Breece Hall, who unfortunately tore his ACL last season. He's slowly making a return as well. So there's a lot of talent on this offensive side of the football for the New York Jets. I want to say they're going to find some success, but I just feel like that this is going to be a huge public team this season, because I've seen a lot of people bet they're over on their team on their regular season win total to go over the 9.5. But what's kind of your outlook for this Jets team, and what do you think their ceiling is?
Yeah, very, very intriguing team to say the least. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is definitely a floor raiser and definitely a massive upgrade over what they dealt with last year. You mentioned with Zach Wilson and even Flacco at times. And I mean, they were in a position to actually compete to get into that wild card, but I think Mike White got hurt and that kind of derailed that. I thought them going away from Mike White really hindered them. They were pretty much trying to cater to Zach Wilson's needs. Granted, he was the top pick for them, so they wanted to give him a little bit more shot. I think that cost them. But yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is definitely a floor raiser. I do have a bit of a question mark as far as continuity is going to be. He's going to demand a lot more from from all of these guys offensively than what they've ever seen. I mean, Garrett Wilson's stepping in his second year, so he's going to be the go-to. I don't know if you watch Hard Knocks, but you could tell he got a rapport with Garrett Wilson. Kind of compare. He didn't compare, but he was making some similarities to him and Devontae Adams. Like, so obviously they were the same number, and just the way that they go about their work. So I think he's going to have a good rapport with him. But one thing I'm really worried about is the tight end, because Aaron Rodgers likes the tight end and the check down. So I'm interested to see the backs, how they rotate those backs and get these guys going. How healthy is Breece Hall? How do they split up with Cook, Hall, Carter, even Abenconda, the rookie? I thought he did some really good things in the preseason as well. But one thing I am really worried about, which I think is the weakest unit in this game that we'll discuss, is going to be the offensive line. I think we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think that is the only, that is the biggest question mark in this game and for the season. If the offensive line can stay healthy and, keep Aaron Rodgers upright, I mean, they got a shot to at least get to the playoffs as a division, but the AFC is just so tough, man. It's just going to be a gauntlet.
Yeah, I know you were talking about your lights flickering. Now my lights are flickering here a little bit, so there's some background noise here in my part of the town. But yeah, you're right. I think that offensive line is definitely a concern for this New York Jets team. And I think that's kind of been the case for Aaron Rodgers throughout his career, even going back to the Green Bay Packers until they decided to shore it up. I don't know. When we talk about guys like David Bakhtiari, that had missed a lot of time over the past several seasons for that, I should say, his former team in the Green Bay Packers. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of transpires for this New York Jets team, and if they're able to keep Aaron Rodgers upright. And if you give Aaron Rodgers the time, he's definitely going to find some success finding his receivers. And again, I think I'm really high on Garrett Wilson coming into this year, now having Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. All right, Lonte, before we actually dive into the Monday Night Football game and discuss the side total and some player props that we do like, let me tell everyone about the free roll football contest happening on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Have you signed up yet for our free season-long NFL Pick'em contest, where if you're listening to this before the Sunday games, you still have time to do that? It's $1,000 for first place and $500 for second place. And if you're a Patreon member for the NFL season, your prices are going to double to $2,000 for first place and $1,000 for second place. Plus, if you're a Patreon member, if a Patreon member wins the free roll football contest, they'll be gifted an autographed full-size Sports Gambling Podcast helmet, which includes guests like Joe Theismann, Bill Romanowski, Pac-Man Jones, John Sally, Eric Metcalf, and LeGarrette Blunt. The sign-up link is at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/contest. Again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/contest. And if you want to become a member of the Patreon and double that prize pool, you still have time to get signed up. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And we're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. We've waited 7 long months, and the NFL season is officially here. Well, good thing the wait is over, and NFL is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. This week, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check the app to see what you can find. Download the app now and use promo code SGP to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code SGP only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. And we're also brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets, your best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have. The best thing I love about their app is not only do they have flash deals and last-minute tickets, but when you actually go to buy a ticket on their app, you can actually see the image of your seat when you actually buy those tickets to that specific event that you're going to see. So there's no surprises when you actually get to the venue. Lowest prices guaranteed, event cancellation protection as well. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and much more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. And if you find tickets in the same section in the same row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. That's how confident they are. So all you got to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Lonte, let's get into the final game of Week 1, which is the Monday Night Football game. Like we talked about, the Bills and the Jets and AFC East. This is what happens this time of year, man. We're covering so many sports that we mix it all up. But the AFC East here, the Buffalo Bills opened as a 3-point road favorite headed to MetLife Stadium to take on the Jets. Currently, that number is at 2.5. Total is at 45.5 for this game. Lonte, let's start with the side here. We'll work our way to the total and to some player props if we do like. But what do you think about the side here? So let me just mention the money line as well. I'm sorry, minus 135 on the money line for the Bills and plus 114 on the money line for the New York Jets, the home underdog.
Yeah, so like I was mentioning, I think the weakest link between all four, all four categories, not including special teams, would be the Jets offensive line. I think they're the weakest link out of all four of those. And it's going to be big. You're going against this Bills defense. They're going to be rejuvenated. They're on a mission. They got something to prove. Like I said, it's going to be a big year for them. I think they can have some success here. Like I said, I don't know what to expect with the run game, because if you can't expect Aaron Rodgers to drop back, 35, 40 times, especially with this offensive line, and be able to pick apart a pretty good Bills defense. And I mean, they're going to be riding off emotion. I'm not sure. I haven't read anything if Hamlin's going to play or at least get some snaps. But I know we're not talking about it. But if he gets on the field for one snap, the comeback player of the year is over. They might as well take that down.
Yeah.
So I think the Bills are going to be the right side here. I can see why probably professionals took the Jets at the +3, probably the most key number in the NFL. But I do lean with the Bills here. I just think the continuity for the Jets is going to take a few weeks to get there. I know Hackett and Rodgers have a rapport, but again, you got so many moving parts. I don't trust the offensive line just yet. I do trust the Bills defense a little bit more. It's a tough game. I wouldn't mind taking the Jets, putting them in a teaser. But as for the side, I definitely lean to the Bills. I just think that their continuity and their willingness to already know what they're supposed to do is going to outweigh some of the uncertainty on the Jet side. And the offensive line is just a huge problem for the Jets. And I love their front. I love their front, the defensive front. The linebacking core for the Jets is kind of in question, but I think that front is just so good that it can mask some of those things on the second level. So I do like the Bills. I think they'll win. I'd rather play them on the money line than laying the 2.5. I think it's a close game. I can see anywhere from a 1 to 3 point victory here. So I think it's properly lined. If I had to make a bet, I'd play the Bills on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the Jets' offensive line. That offensive line comes in ranked 24th out of 32 teams for this upcoming season, and I think that I'm not really sold on Robert Saleh as a head coach either. He's a defensive-minded head coach, obviously coming from the San Francisco 49ers a couple seasons ago, where he did lead them to being one of the better defensive lines or defenses in the entire league over the course of the time that he was there, right? But and I mean, are we that quick to? Are we sure that we can trust Nathaniel Hackett after what transpired last season with the Denver Broncos? I know he has Aaron Rodgers, and he can make up for some of the flaws that he may have in play calling, whatever the case might be. But I think there may be some growing pains for the New York Jets. Again, we talk about quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks that haven't played a lot of preseason. We saw Aaron Rodgers play maybe a series or two. Was it?
Yeah, I think he played two.
Yeah, in the final preseason of the game. So there may be some rust here. I know same thing with Josh Allen as well, but I think I'm going to go here with the Bills as well. I like the 2.5 here. Just talking about continuity, right? It's you have obviously Josh Allen at the quarterback position. He has that chemistry with his wide receivers over the past several seasons. The defense, I think, is a big thing that we really haven't discussed yet for the Bills, because last season this defense had a lot of injuries, and there are a lot of guys that missed time. We talk about Matt Milano. He played 15 to 17 games. So Tremont Edmonds only played in 13 games last season. Jordan Poyer only played in 12 games last season. We talked about the DeMar Hamlin situation as well. Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, only played in 13 games last season. So Von Miller, another guy that they had last season, only played in 12 and 17 games last season.
Let me ask you about Von. I don't know if I haven't read anything. Is he going to be restricted by any means, or is he just like a full go? I haven't read anything about like limitations on him or not. That was a big thing that I was waiting to get more information
on. I haven't seen anything of recent. I'm guessing they're going to be more cautious with him, but I don't think he's playing in this game either. I think they put him on the PUP list to start.
Oh, they did.
The season.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're not going to have Von Miller at least at minimum for this first game against the Jets. But again, that would have been a huge help going up against that offensive line, right? So I think, yeah, I'm with you on the Bills here. I'm comfortable laying the -2.5. I mean, if you want to take the money line at -135 right now, currently over on DraftKings, I don't hate that either. I just think that just having that chemistry and the continuity of a Bills roster with pretty much what has been intact, except for Brian Daboll, now you're going up against a team that, even though they do have Aaron Rodgers, I think there may be some growing pains. And I think that for this Jets offense, that getting some type of chemistry going, actually game time play, I think there may be some growing pains, at least for this first game here. So I'm going to go with the Bills here as well. Let's get over to the total here. Lonte currently sitting at 45.5. Anything on the total here? Or you can even talk about halves, quarters, or even team totals as well. If anything that you do like there.
Yeah, I like the under. I much rather have the first half under. It should be. Let me see. I didn't see a number on it. It should be around.
Let me see if I can get it here.
I had it wrote down. I just want to make sure that it's updated, because I wrote it down earlier in the day. Let's see if I got it. I see 22.5, 23. Yep. Yeah, so I like that under. I mean, you mentioned it at the top. The Bills are going to be putting a little bit more emphasis on running the ball, especially with they got a two back set with Harris and James Cook. I think James Cook will be able to catch more passes out of the backfield, especially on third downs. I'll get into that in the player prop section. But I do like the under in the first half, and I like the under for the full game because if you look at the Jets, outside of Garrett Wilson, they don't have really a deep ball threat. And I'm not even sure that Garrett Wilson is just a deep ball threat. He performs at all three levels. But outside of him, I don't think they have any other guy on that roster that scares me as far as being able to, take the top off the defense or take some pressure off of Garrett Wilson. So I do like Garrett Wilson in the game. I think he's a phenomenal receiver. But again, I think we'll see more check downs from Aaron Rodgers. I think we'll see more too high shell for the Bills to keep those plays in front of them because you're going to have to make somebody else beat you other than Garrett Wilson. So I think they'll rely more on the run game. They got a bevy of backs, like 4 backs that can rotate in to do several different things. The Bills pretty much want to set the standard. He said not run Josh Allen a lot and rotate those backs in. So I think we see a ground and pound approach early on, and it might get up. I think we see like a 2017 type of game here. Whichever side you like. I mean, I prefer the Bills, so I prefer them to win 20-17. But I think we see somewhat of a slower pace game here, dink and dunk for the Jets. And then the big plays for the Bills, I mean, it's not going to be with Stephon Diggs. It's going to have to be – Sauce Gardner's going to be on him. So it's going to be intriguing to see. But I think the under is a good play here, first half and full game.
Yeah, we talked about some of the positional group rankings for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they're top 10 in almost every single category except for the two that really matter. Offensive line, they're ranked 21st. And the running back room is graded number 22 as far as positional ranking. And again, that might change, obviously. We don't know what we're going to get out of James Cook and Damian Harris for this team. I'm going to lean with the under here as well for the full game, 45.5. I think the Bills defense is really, like you mentioned at the top of the show, that they're going to be getting up for this game. I think they'll be able to take off against this offensive line. And I think the Jets defense as well. We haven't really talked about them, but they were one of the better ones last season, if not one of the best last season, right up there when we talk about teams like San Francisco's defense. I think the Jets were right up there with this team as well. So I'm going to go with the under with you on under 45.5. Like you mentioned, this might be a 20-17, 24-21 type of game. Getting right under this total for this game. So under for me. Before we get over to some player props here, Lonte, let me tell everyone about Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets in the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bets with its Circle stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into the Hall of Fame bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort our players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You can pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether to go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do, spending your Sundays doing, watching the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going to 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. All right, Lonte, let's get into some player props here that we like for this Monday Night Football game. What do you got for the people?
Yeah, I got one for each side. I'm going to go with Gabe Davis over 45.5 receiving yards. If you shop around, it's 45.5. I see 46.5. But I mean, try to find the best number, obviously. I think 45.5 is more widely available than those other numbers. But I think, like we mentioned, I think Sauce Gardner is going to take away one part of the field. And that'll open up some plays for Gabe Davis. He's a long ball threat. I mean, he can get this off one catch. And we saw him do it several times. I thought he had a pretty lackluster year last year after coming off that big was it the AFC Championship game where he had the 3 touchdowns, or was it the game before?
I think last year was AFC champ. Well, that was the year prior where they had that
2 years ago, the crazy game with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last year he didn't have a good year last year coming off of that that big postseason run where he had a big postseason. But yeah, I think he comes back and has a good year this year. If you want to bet on him anytime touchdown score, I'm really high on Gabe Davis in this game. Over 45.5 is going to be probably one of my favorite bets on the slate for this weekend. And I go to the other side. I'll go with well, not to the other side. I'll go to the same side of the ball. James Cook over 63.5 receiving and rushing yards. Like we mentioned, I think we're going to see a lot of checkdowns from Josh Allen. If they're going to put more emphasis on him not being able to run the ball, then when the defense comes in and blitzing, and you're going to see a lot of different schemes from Saleh and that staff. I think you're going to have ample opportunity for James Cook to break a screen pass, line up in the slot, and they have Damian Harris in the backfield, so you can keep both of those guys on the same field to keep the defense guessing. So I think we see a lot of James Cook featured here. I wanted to take Michael Carter rushing and receiving yards, but I just didn't see a number on him, so I just pivoted to James Cook. But I think Michael Carter pretty much the same. It's similar handicap with James Cook. I think he's the best pass catcher on the team outside of Dalvin Cook. But how comfortable is Dalvin Cook going to be in the system? I mean, he's a late addition. And all those other guys have been through camp with Aaron Rodgers, so he had a rapport with them. But if you see a number on rushing and receiving with Michael Carter, let me know. But I'll definitely be on that in some capacity. Just can't give it out because I don't see a number on it right now.
Yeah, I don't see a number right now for him either. I'm trying to look right now. Yeah, but I don't see anything yet. As far as player props that I do like for this game, I think the tight end position is something that for the Bills is something that I think they're going to want to utilize more this season. I know Dawson Knox has been there, but they also drafted Dalton Kincaid in the past draft. I see his receptions just at 2.5 at -130. Definitely shop around, get the best number, best order at DraftKings right now. I think that, like you mentioned, that if Sauce Gardner is going to be lined up or matched up with Stephon Diggs, that opens up opportunity for other guys as well. I think Gabe Davis, you talked about it. I think that's one guy that's going to benefit. But also Dalton Kincaid, I think that he's going to be able to, have some favorable matchups and catch some passes from Josh Allen. So I like that over 2.5. I wanted to get there with Dalvin Cook on his rushing yards, but it was still too high for me, even at 44.5. I like the angle on James Cook in this game out of the backfield receiving the ball, because if that pass rush is able to get to Josh Allen, we'll see some checkdowns from Josh Allen to James Cook. So his numbers right now at 15.5. I do like the over on that as well. So I'm going to go with 2 Buffalo Bill players as my player props in this game. So James Cook over 15.5. And also Dalton Kincaid over 2.5 receptions in this game for the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
All right, so that is pretty much going to do it here. Let's get into a best bet for this Monday Night Football game before we wrap up this episode here, Lonte. It could be anything, man. Player prop, side total, wherever you want to give out as a best bet.
Man, I'm going back to something we just hit. I like Gabe Davis over 45.5. Honestly, if you want to take I'm not sure if they're out yet, but usually on primetime isolated games, they post stat category leaders. If you can find Gabe Davis to lead that game and receiving yards, I think that'll be a nice size number because obviously he'll be behind Diggs 8.5, I think, and then Garrett Wilson is a little bit high, so he'll at least be the third guy, so that'll give us some value here. But again, I think he's a number 2 option on the team, and he's gonna have to get open to free up the space for that Buffalo Bills offense. So I think he has a huge day. Over 45.5, I think is a great bet for Gabe Davis to go over that number. So that's gonna be my best bet for the show.
Love it, man. All right, for my best bet, I'm gonna actually go with the under in this game at 45.5. I think we have 2 strong defenses here. Jets last season, like I mentioned, were one of the better defenses in the league. They were top 10 in a lot of the defensive categories. Sauce Gardner in the year number 2.
Yep.
And I think there might be a little bit of growing pains here for the Jets offense. And I think that we talked about how bad the offensive line, or they're below subpar this season or below league average. I think that they're going to be able to get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I think the same thing with the Jets, the defense as well. I think they'll be able to get some pressure on Josh Allen. So we might just see some teams, or both of these teams, maybe limiting the offenses, at least in game one here. So under 45.5 for me as my best bet for the Monday night football game.
Like,
all right, Lonte, that's going to do it, man. Our first episode for the Monday Night Football betting preview, week one between the Bills and the Jets. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here, my man?
Nah, man, it's just man, these numbers been out for a while since the whole summer, so it's really not a lot of value in week one numbers unless you jumped on them early. But yeah, as we go on, we'll have obviously more data points and more information and better feel on the team, so be a more in-depth breakdown. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. Look forward to breaking the games down every Sunday with you.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun going through the games for Monday Night Football throughout the season here. So we'll probably record these maybe on on Saturdays and get these out.
I said Sunday. I got my days mixed up.
on Saturdays and probably maybe even Sundays, just how our schedule permits, but definitely well before on Monday morning. So you guys can listen to this whether you're working out or driving into work or dropping off the kids, wherever the case might be. And again, tune in with us all season long on the NFL Gambling Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the NFL Gambling Podcast YouTube channel and also follow us on Twitter at SGPNNFL. You can make sure to follow Lonte on Twitter at XXLonteXX. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. We'll be back on Monday for the NFL Gambling Podcast with the recap show with Jay Mark and Moneyline Max. So look out for that. Till then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games. Let's break these books off and let it ride.